Today on Kilts and Culture with USA Kilts, we talk about cleaning and pressing your kilt, formal wear options, and my top 5 moments in a kilt. Hello, boys and girls. Welcome to USA Kilts Live. I'm Rocky. This is Eric. We are here to answer your questions. So, as soon as you have a chance, if you have any questions, any burning questions down in the depth of your soul that you need answered about kilts, load them into the question area, and Eric and I will be happy to oblige you.
Yep, we might even give you the right answer. All right, I'm going to jump right in. First question we had was, I am getting married in a kilt, but I want to get more usage and longevity out of the outfit I buy without breaking the bank. What would you suggest I look for when choosing a jacket and a waistcoat I can wear to most events without being overly formal, but will still look good for a wedding?
Frankly, an Argyle jacket and vest would probably be your best bet. That's going to be the most versatile for you. If you're looking for one jacket to do everything, kind of, just be your, daily wear or, all-round best jacket for versatility, the Argyle jacket and vest, which is a black jacket and vest, comes with a 5-button waistcoat. I'd suggest getting that as well. That way you can, kind of wear with the waistcoat to dress it up a little bit more. You can wear just the jacket itself to dress it a little bit down. If it's a warm day, like it is in here, you can actually just wear the vest by itself and still look pretty sharp. That being said, if you have a little bit of extra scratch, the Argyle jacket and vest is a good, middle of the road formal. It's not really formal, but it's not really casual, not smart day wear. If you have a little bit of extra money and you want to do 2 jackets to kind of cover both ends of the spectrum, I'd suggest doing a Prince Charlie for the more formal events and then do a tweed jacket and vest for the less formal events. That way you have the upper and the lower end of the spectrum covered. Similar to the way you would wear a dress sporran for formal stuff and a day sporran for day wear,
Sure.
versus a semi-dress, which kind of splits the difference.
Yeah, basically. I mean, you can define how formal an outfit is based on the accessories. So the Argyle has become so standard and become a go-to for people because really it kind of fades into the background and all of your accessories are really what's going to pop in people's minds when they look at you. Like what kind of tie you're wearing, whether it's a ruche tie or just a regular necktie, whether you're wearing a fly plate and a brooch or not, whether you're wearing a dress sporran or a day sporran. So yeah, I'd say the Argyle is definitely, if you have to keep it on a budget, it's a standard go-to. There is also, if it just so happens you are a bagpiper, or if you want something that might behave a little more cooler in the summer, there is the Piper Flex option. You want to talk about that at all?
Sure. The Piper Flex, basically, it's an Argyle cut jacket, but the back 2 panels of the jacket actually are made from a wool lycra blend, and they're also cut on the bias. So when you stretch, your arms this way, or if you're a bagpiper, as you lift your arm, it has a little bit more flexibility, a little bit more stretch to the jacket itself. And they have the advantage of also having the armhole cut a little bit higher and a chain closure in the front to allow a little bit more freedom of movement for bagpipers. Yeah. So it's a little bit cooler. It's a little bit less warm than a full Argyle jacket, but it's mostly for bagpipers.
Yeah, I will say I personally like the Flex jacket because I've always been one of those people who's been told I need an athletic cut jacket. I'm not athletic, but you got the shoulder thing going on, so a little extra stretch is kind of nice if I'm going to be in it for all day. That's another thing to consider, though, is a lot of formal events. You're not going to be wearing the jacket the whole time. You might be in the jacket for the wedding, and then
the photographs.
And the photos. Once you go to the reception, jacket can very easily go on the back of a chair. So if you feel a little stiff in it, it's just the price of looking good for that short period of time. It's pretty normal.
Sure.
Does that cover it?
Lucas, you had a question?
Clark is asking us, what is your take on ruche ties? They seem to be a little bit on the costume side.
Yeah, they're not really a historically accurate thing. It's something that was kind of made up by the hire trade for hires meaning rentals, for weddings and that kind of thing. They are a little bit costumey, but for people who want something other than a bow tie or a long necktie, they're a neat alternative. I've worn them once or twice. When you do wear a ruche tie, you should be wearing it with a 5-button vest. It is not meant to be worn with the 3-button Prince Charlie vest that comes all the way down to here, because you don't want the whole big wide tie showing. For those who don't know what a ruche tie is, it's basically ruched material, kind of gathered material at the top knot, and then below that is a big wide, effectively what looks like a clown tie. It's very, very, very wide, like comically wide. That's why it's best to have it with a 5-button. That way, it's all you're really seeing is the ruche and a little bit of the top of the tie.
Yeah, and you don't have to worry about it popping out. Like if you can imagine a low collared vest, the tie is the ruche tie is right there, and it just easily pops out of the waistcoat, and then it looks goofy. Wearing a 5-button vest with a PC jacket for highly formal events is getting to be more popular. As we've said before, if you want to consider doing that, please call us first, because the fitting of those separate parts is important. The ruche tie, I think, is supposed to be, it's a throwback to late 18th, early 19th century dress. It looks a little costumey to me because they typically make them out of a satin material, so they're very bright, and it's usually a very bright, shiny color. But essentially, if you look at pictures of guys in late 18th, early 19th, like the Regency period in British history is called the Regency period most of the time. It's kind of hearkening to that. So it has some historical precedent. I personally like them quite a bit because I like the more, flamboyant, Victorian-ish feel for things. It's more fun, essentially, for me. But my opinion also is that you should have more than one tie in your collection. You should. The whole point of Highland wear is that, unlike other national dress, you can change it up and you can modify it and really make a whole bunch of different outfits out of it. So yeah, I'd say have more than one tie, and don't rule out ruche ties, but be careful with it.
Yeah, think of when you're in Highland wear, think of your kilt as the basis of your whole outfit. Everything gets built on that. That's why we often say, when you're buying your kilt, without trying to sound like a sales guy, you want to buy the best kilt you can afford because you can build on it, or you can make it more casual or more formal based on all the accessories. So you want to make sure the kilt is going to be a nice kilt for formal stuff. You want to buy, it's easier to dress a nice kilt down than a lower end kilt up. That being said, like Eric was alluding to, you can actually just, use a dress sporran for formal functions in the same kilt. You can use a day sporran for day wear. You can put it with a Prince Charlie or with the tweed. All those things are just kind of floating around the kilt. The kilt itself is the basis for the outfit.
Yep. And if you do the ruche, I'd say go with just the black or the silver. Don't do any of the colored ones. They get more costumey looking. The more colorful they are, I think.
Yeah, that's with all, even with the bow ties and stuff as well.
True.
It's,
True. I would never wear a bow tie with a kilt, though.
If you're wearing a Prince Charlie?
With a PC, yes, but I mean like normal wear or day wear. I
wouldn't wear a ruche tie with day wear either.
Yeah, point. Yeah, okay.
Take that.
Damn you. Okay. You got another one there, Lucas?
Okay.
Is that yes or no? That was a no? Okay. This one you had listed as a twofer. We got...
two questions that are
basically... Two questions together, yeah. We're going to
similar.
Throw them together. So basically, how often should I wash my kilt? I've literally never washed it since the day you made it for me. Okay, so they got it from us. That's cool. I want to know about washing kilts and also about washing Jacobite shirts. And he's planning on ordering soon, so we're going to answer very carefully so that we get the sale.
First, Dan Brumbach is the one who asked the first question.
Thanks, Dan.
Dan, that's disgusting. You need to wash your kilt. I know when you bought your kilt. Please wash your kilt. It's probably standing on its own. Basically, it depends on what kind of kilt you have and how dirty you get. If you are running a marathon in your kilt and you're wearing a casual kilt, just pop it in the wash after you're done the marathon. If you're only wearing your kilt for an 8-yard kilt for formal occasions and you wear it twice a year, you can spot clean it very easily and not have to worry about dry cleaning it or washing it for a couple years. As long as it's, you let it dry out, you put it away, and you've spot cleaned it, and schmutz off the kilt kind of thing. With the to wash a kilt, if it is one of our PV kilts, either our casual or our semi-traditional kilt, you're going to want to use a machine wash it. Do not use fabric softener, and just machine wash, warm temperature or cold, and then once it gets out of the spin cycle, take out the kilt, lay it on the back of the couch or the back, the bottom of the bed or something. Lay it flat to dry, and you want to shape the pleats with your hand. while it's still damp, because that'll make ironing easier when you actually have to iron the kilt. For a wool kilt, if you don't know what you're doing, then wet wash the kilt, then dry clean the kilt.
Okay.
If you know how to wet wash wool, it can be done, but be aware that you absolutely will have to re-iron it, and it's a little bit of a pain in the butt to iron a wool kilt. And you have to be very, very careful. If you are nervous about it at all, just dry clean it. But the basic instructions for wet washing are, if you have a top loader washing machine, I'll give you the quick rundown. Again, disclaimer, if you don't know what you're doing, don't try this. Fill the washing machine up and leave the lid open. Actually, dunk the kilt in there, swish it around, let it soak in for a little bit with Woolite or some kind of wool cleaner. Lift the kilt out, dunk it again, let it sit for a few minutes, then turn the dial past the agitate to actually where it drains out, and then it'll go on spin cycle with no agitation. You don't want that center thing going back and forth. That is what will felt the wool. That is what will make it hard and fuzzy, which you do not want. Then, after it's done spinning, then you switch it to the rinse cycle, and you basically just fill it up. You're doing all this with the lid open so that you control what the machine is doing. Then, basically you fill it back up with water. Just hand dip the kilt, let it soak for a few minutes, hand dip the kilt, put it back on spin, let the water drain out, and let it spin all the water out of it. Then, take it out, lay it on the back of the sofa. Same thing, put your hands in the pleats, straighten them out to form them better so that they have a chance to dry, basically in shape, which will make your job ironing later on very easy. Again, disclaimer, if you don't know how to wet wash wool, don't try it. Just go to a dry cleaner.
Okay.
Lucas.
Oh, what about the Jacobite shirt?
Oh, sorry. For the Jacobite shirt, how do you clean the Jacobite shirt?
Much easier.
Yeah, they're basically just cotton. So for a Jacobite shirt, throw it in the laundry on cold, and then because it is cotton, the cream ones are cotton, the black ones that we carry are poly. So poly you can probably throw in the dryer. Cotton is a natural fabric, so it will shrink up a little bit. Just to be safe, don't use the dryer with them. Wet wash it with regular laundry detergent, and then once it's out of the laundry, or once it's out of the washing machine, just hang it up to dry. If you have a jacket hanger, don't use a wire hanger, because if it's wet and there's like rust spots on it, it'll actually come through into the shirt. Yeah. If you have a plastic jacket hanger with the wide shoulders to kind of imitate shoulders on a human, hang it on that to dry it. That'll help form it out a little bit.
Cool. All right.
Let's go to Lucas.
Couple of questions. Quick question from Justin. He was asking, how do you know a good dry cleaner to take your kilt to?
Mm-hmm. That's a very good question.
You do background checks. There's
Yelp. Seriously?
Yeah, Yelp. Yeah, that's fair point. Yelp, like Google reviews. Look if they have a Facebook page. Check out the reviews there. And frankly, test something small and less expensive. Mm-hmm. Do that. It's tough to find a good dry cleaner. Once you find a good dry cleaner, it's good to treat them nice and bring all your stuff there and talk them up kind of thing. If you find a good dry cleaner, if you're not sure, test them with something small first. Ask other people. Ask women. Ask women. A lot of women have more dry cleanable clothes than guys do. So women are a good, valuable insight into that kind of thing as well. A lot of them go to the dry cleaner more because they have more dry cleanable type clothes.
And the warning about pressing from a dry cleaner?
Yeah, if you are comfortable pressing a kilt yourself or ironing the kilt yourself, it's better and cheaper not to have the dry cleaner do it. If they press the pleats and they don't know what they're doing and they kind of, basically put them on an angle or, cock them weird so that it's not exactly linear following the individual stripes going down the edge of the pleat, it can be difficult to redo them. Mm-hmm. So when in doubt, just tell the dry cleaner, just dry clean the kilt, do not press it. Right. If you do that, they'll probably only charge you $3 or $4 and just clean it. And frankly speaking, the pleats will probably still be in it when you get it back. Yeah. But you do not want them to press it if you know how to press your kilt yourself. Lucas.
Joshua is asking us, what are the Highland wear headwear options to consider?
You wear hats more than I do, so you want to take this one?
I'd say it depends on how a traditional look you want to go for.
Feather bonnet at all times.
Yes, absolutely. The taller the better.
Yep.
You want the ones with the hackle. It's about a foot long or
Yep.
3 feet long, preferably. In all seriousness, there are two main types of hats you're going to see guys in a conservative mode wearing. One is what's commonly called a balmoral, which is basically a military version of a Scottish bonnet. So if you do a Google image search on balmoral hat or Scottish, not Scotch, because that's a Scotch bonnet is a flower, but Scottish bonnet, it's a kind of that beret-like hat. That is probably the single most traditional native Scottish hat there is. I think they're fascinating because the originals were actually, we say it's like a beret, but it was actually almost like a bag, and you'd wear it almost flat pancake style most of the time. But you had the option of pulling it down over your ears if you needed to, or you could take it off, and sometimes they'd use it as a bag to carry stuff in. It's typical Scottish, all practical all the time, you know what I mean? But a balmoral, or a bonnet like that, worn cocked to the side like a beret, can be very dashing, very cool looking. The military ones very often will have the tweed, which is the pom-pom on top. As I touch my head, pretending I have a pom-pom on my head here. You'll see bagpipers wearing those frequently. The other typical hat, again, is another military-type hat, which is called the Glengarry. It's kind of like a barracks cap, essentially, and it's kind of the rectangular cheese wedge kind of hat. Very
It's
often,
like a boat.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't really recommend those for regular guys to wear because it just implies that you're in a band, and it just looks a little too military for day wear for me, in my opinion. But there's nothing wrong with wearing them. And if you're going to something like a clan gathering or Highland games where you're representing a clan and you want to show off a clan badge and attract attention because you're trying to show off, Clan McCallum or whatever, then go for it. Both of those hats are actually very cool for that. Beyond that, we usually say something like a flat cap is a really nice option for day wear. People sometimes think a flat cap is more of an Irish option, but it was common throughout the British Isles, and you'll see lots of pictures of guys, especially on hunting trips, wearing a flat cap with a kilt. And a short-brimmed hat like a trilby is another option. That's my least favorite option of typical hat styles. The other thing we usually tell people is probably don't want to go for the Stetson or the James Cagney fedora with the brim out to here. The silhouette's wrong. It's got this weird flat, very angular hat up top, and then it just kind of ruins the silhouette of the outfit with the kilt. So shorter brim is a safer bet, and I do not personally think you should wear a ball cap. Just saying.
Your mileage may vary on that.
Yeah.
Ball cap. A lot of guys do wear ball caps, especially if it's more casual. If you're just wearing, sneakers and a t-shirt, I wouldn't wear a Balmoral or a Glengarry or anything like that. I might wear a flat cap.
Yeah.
I might wear a ball cap. So that's more Eric's personal opinion on ball caps than it is on what people do, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But that's the risk you run here. Is that everybody has an opinion.
I will cop to the fact that I have actually worn, and you've seen me wear it many times, a Greek sailor hat with a kilt. So that's as close to a ball cap as I'll get. But it's basically but again, it's a short brim. It kind of forms to the head a little bit. It's not distracting from the kilt itself. I think that's the thing.
Agreed
for me. So. Any more?
Yep.
Tim is asking us. He lives in Central Florida. It gets very hot there.
Yup.
What are your views on 5-yard versus 8-yard wool kilts?
If you're going to be wearing a kilt outside summertime at festivals, then a 5-yard kilt would probably be a good option for you.
Yep.
There's not a ton of difference between a 5-yard and an 8-yard as far as heat is concerned, for a couple reasons. Number one, it's you have air conditioning underneath your kilt. Number two, the 5-yard kilt, it's the construction of the kilt. In an 8-yard kilt, where the pleats are all gathered up in the back, we actually scallop out all the fabric and then put in a horsehair canvas and the lining on top of that. So the kilt is only 4 or 5 layers of cloth thick. On a 5-yard kilt, we do not scallop out all that fabric. Therefore, it's realistically about 6 layers thick. It's a little bit thicker on a 5-yard kilt So it still traps the heat effectively the same amount as an 8-yard kilt does. You can also use 13 ounce versus 16 ounce to get your heat down a little bit. But ultimately, you're basically talking about degrees. I mean, degrees as in small amounts, not temperature. You're only talking about small changes which aren't going to make a huge difference. The much bigger factor in how warm you are in Central Florida wearing a kilt is what are you wearing on your head and what do you have up top. If you're wearing a white linen shirt and no cap, or a white Panama like straw type cap, then you're going to be much cooler than if you're wearing a wool black flat cap or a wool Glengarry or something and a black jacket and vest. Mm-hmm. So it's really just common sense. Similar, the same thing kind of goes for the hose. If you're wearing, we have cotton hose now on our website. So if you're wearing cooler cotton hose, or if you're wearing just regular ankle socks, those are going to be cooler, obviously, than wearing thick, hand knit, chunky wool kilt hose.
Yeah, the cotton hose are fantastic for that. Actually, it's one of the best things we've ever started selling, in my opinion. But I tend to overheat a lot. What about polyviscose versus wool?
Polyviscose, it's a little bit lighter weight than wool. The PV fabric that we have is about 11 or 12 ounces. So it's not going to be a ton cooler than the wool. The wool breathes a little bit better than polyester, but the PV is a little bit lighter than the wool. You still have the air conditioning. It still depends on the amount of yardage that's in the kilt. So there's a ton of factors. The bigger factor, back to the washing, is with the PV kilt. If you're out and you're sweating in your kilt, the PV kilt you can just throw in the washing machine. Where the wool kilt, you have to have it dry cleaned, and you're going to be you don't want to clean the wool kilt as often, because the more you dry clean it and the more you launder it, the faster it's going to wear out. Where the PV is a little bit hardier as far as taking cleanings. That being said, one other thing I want to say about the PV: do not dry clean the PV kilt.
Right.
It has actually a Teflon coating on it. So if you dry clean a PV kilt, what ends up happening, or one of the PV kilts from us, what ends up happening is the chemicals that the dry cleaner used will actually strip the Teflon coating off of the fabric. So that's what helps protect it, and it's also what keeps the little tiny pills away. Is the Teflon coating makes it, those little bumps on the surface of the fabric, keeps them away for longer. Next, Mr. Lucas.
Jennifer and Derek have a two-part question. Hose or no hose for casual summer wear, and do shoe types matter?
If it's casual summer wear, I don't wear a hose. It also depends on the temperature outside.
Yeah.
If it's going to be cool, if I'm going out for the evening and I'm going to be wearing my full outfit and I want to be a little bit dressier, then I might have on a polo shirt and a pair of hose. If I'm going to be out during the day, 1, 2 o'clock, peak hours, sun beating down on me, no shade, then I'm probably just going to wear a pair of sneakers and a pair of ankle socks or low-cut socks and a appropriate shirt.
Yeah, it really depends, like everything else, it depends on what you're doing that day. Hiking boots and hiking socks, if you're going hiking or going to a festival or something, perfect, fine. If you want to dress it up a little bit, like Rocky was saying, the first thing we always say when we're selling somebody like a package at the shop is the first thing you add to your outfit when you're dressing up is a pair of hose. That's the one marker for sure between being casual, just kicking around, and trying to look a little more put together. So the cotton hose, again, brand new option for us, but a great one. If you want to sharpen up the look a little bit, go for those. But there's nothing wrong with having casual shoes and casual socks when you're doing something casual. For the shoes and the socks too, I suppose, we would just say, don't go for anything colorful. Keep it toned down, browns and blacks, plain colors, so that you're not distracting from the kilt or turning yourself into some kind of weird Technicolor eyesore between plaids and Nike neon stripes. So that's, unless you're running shoes are total exception. You just do the shoe that's going to work best for running.
Yeah.
But that's basically it. Yeah, don't overthink it. You don't really have to for casual.
Mr. Lucas.
Yes, Kevin is asking, are the Jacobite shirts traditional to wear with a kilt?
Traditional, no. They are effectively a made-up costume that looks pretty cool. They're not. If you would travel back in time to the 1600s, you would not see guys wearing them. They're not a traditional shirt of that period. They're meant to basically emulate a traditional shirt that looks like it kind of belongs in that period.
Yeah, basically the I don't know when they invented them. I'm going to guess probably in like the 40s or 50s. But Highland shirts, also known as Jacobite shirts, also known as ghillie shirts, are supposed to kind of mimic like an 18th century work shirt. But the whole lacing up the front thing is totally like Errol Flynn, Hollywood kind of, aha, I am the Highlander kind of thing with the chest bursting out of the shirt kind of thing. They didn't make shirts like that. If you want to get a period-looking shirt that's actually an 18th century shirt, I can recommend going to a company called Townsend's. But they didn't do the lace-up thing at all, not let alone grommets to have a leather thong go through for lacing it up. You could make it look more traditional for part of a costume, I guess, if you wear a cravat and cover that whole part of the shirt up, like if you're trying to do something reenactment-like and you want to look like Jamie Fraser. But it really is a modern invention supposed to mimic an 18th century work shirt. Now they are very comfortable. I'll say that. I like wearing them just because they're fun and they're comfortable, but I consider them a contemporary option, not like contemporary traditional casual, but not actually traditional. Sorry, I didn't mean to step on you.
It's all good. The other thing that I was going to say was we just started carrying grandfather shirts. We don't have them here on the website yet. However, we are going to get them up there at some point, hopefully in the near future. It's a grandfather shirt is a small stand-up collar, and it has about a dozen buttons from basically the top to about mid-chest, and then 3 or 4 buttons going down. It's like an Irish laborer's kind of shirt. It is a very, very traditional shirt that would be actually a little bit more appropriate to a couple hundred years ago.
Yeah, and that's I would call the granddad shirts a fashion interpretation of a late 19th, early 20th century workman's shirt, like a journeyman's shirt. It has a placket. The part he's talking about with the buttons, you got lots and lots of buttons down to the end of the placket. And then under the placket, you have some more buttons just to close off the shirt. Very cool looking, nice, very rustic look, kind of folksy, kind of steampunky. They are awesome with a kilt too, and they're like a cotton linen blend, right? The ones we got in. So again, super comfortable.
Very, very comfortable.
If you have to choose between the one or the other for something you're doing, I would definitely do the granddad shirt over the Highland shirt. Personal preference.
Yeah, and you can also wear it with a pair of jeans, and it still looks. It doesn't really look too costumey. It still looks nice.
Right. You don't want to do the Seinfeld thing, wearing a Highland shirt and some jeans that
the puffy shirt.
Puffy shirt. Yeah. All right.
Mr. Lucas.
Great question from Mason. How busy is too busy of a shirt pattern to go with a tartan? Are striped shirts traditional? Gingham? ?
Ooh.
Thanks, and keep up the great work.
Thank you. Tattersall is probably the most patterned shirt that is traditionally worn with a kilt. It is patterned shirts with kilts it takes a certain person to pull it off.
This guy.
Not every guy can pull it off. You have to kind of know what you're doing and have an eye for it. If you're not sure, stick with solid colors.
Right.
I'm personally not a fan of striped shirts with a kilt. But I don't like it. In my mind, if you have a gridular pattern, it should be gridular and stripes. Gridular.
Okay.
It's a word now. Look it up. I'm going to put it on our FAQs on our website.
Yeah, there you go.
So if you're going to have a pattern with both horizontal and vertical lines, then to me that looks much better than stripes on a shirt. That being said, if you're going to wear a striped shirt, vertical, not horizontal.
And subtle.
Yeah, and subtle. Yes, exactly.
That's the only reson I get away with this one, I think, is because it's actually a very subtle stripe. And beyond that, with either option we're talking about, it comes down to the color tones. You want to make sure that it's a really good match for the tartan if you're going to do it.
Or tones. It doesn't have to necessarily be a match, but it tones well.
It has to go.
And it has to, ideally, when I'm wearing a Tattersall shirt, I try to have at least 1 or 2 of the colors in the stripes in the Tattersall blend with one of the colors in the kilt. Don't have a Tattersall shirt that is, pink and purple and wear a black watch kilt. To me, that's a bit odd. Gingham.
Most people, that'd be a bit odd.
Yeah. Gingham check. That's fine as well. those are typically two colors, meaning like, black and white or red and white or something like that. I'd wear it that it matches well or tones well with the kilt itself.
I would say if you want to experiment with this kind of thing, when you're wearing multiple layers, it will become easier. And if you're worried about the pattern of the shirt being distracting, having a tie on and a vest on will make it more of an accent and not an overwhelming, look at my shirt kind of thing, as if you're just wearing it casually with just the shirt and just the kilt. As to periodness, we've probably made this comment before, but back in a lot of the time period we're talking about, a lot of the history of Scotland, especially closer to the Highlands, you wore what shirt you had. They didn't worry about being matchy-matchy the way we have the option of being now. We can be real fashion plates today if we want to, but back then it's like you had a kilt and you had whatever work shirts you had, and you might have your Sunday best, and that was it. We're not talking about people who had a lot of money necessarily. So when you look at photographs or old paintings and stuff, you will see some interesting combinations because they were just wearing what they had. So experiment with it, but go slow.
And one other thing I'll say is there's a lot of community supports on Facebook. There's a lot of kilt communities. So if you're in doubt, if you're not sure if it really works or not, take a picture of yourself, do a selfie. Don't do the duck lips, but do a selfie. Put it on one of the Facebook groups, whether it's Kilted United, Brotherhood of the Kilt, any of them, and say, hey guys, I just put this together. What do you think? Does it work or no? And you'll get honest feedback. Or send us an email, sales@USA Kilts, with the shirt and the kilt that you're looking at, to match together. We'll give you our honest feedback as well.
Yeah. Some of the feedback you'll get online will be very gentle. Some will be caustic. It's the internet. What are you going to do? Different people have different attitudes about how much you bow to tradition. So, but it's all about experimentation and,
Yeah, make it yours.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
The Welsh Tartan Center would like to know, how
Really?
How does Rocky's coffee stay warm for so long? And they're giving you a hello from Wales.
Hello, Tony and Dan.
Is that Tony? Cool. Awesome.
It is a wonderful travel mug.
We don't care. We don't care if our coffee is warm or not. That's we drink it no matter how we can get it.
Exactly. I like cold coffee. I like warm coffee. It's staying warm in this room right now because we need to put an air conditioner in.
Yeah.
But aside from that, yep.
Yeah.
Next, Mr. Lucas.
Jeff is asking about kilt hose in larger sizes. He's asking kilt hose for guys with thick calves. I know my calves are around 21 to 22 inches, and large kilt hose are a killer. They still dig into it when he's putting them on.
Yeah.
Right. The cotton hose that we just got, those stretch. I don't have anyone who's gone that large yet, or who has calves that large, who's ordered them and given us feedback yet. 19 or so, they fit fine. So maybe the cotton hose, I'm not 100% on that. We have two options for guys with big calves. One, we have hand knit kilt hose, and we actually offer those specifically in wide sizes. Because they are hand knit, not machine knit, they're literally knit by little old ladies in Scotland. So we tell them, we need wider calves and we need skinnier calves. So they're happy to do that. Plus, it's a chunkier knit, therefore it does stretch a little bit more.
Those are absolutely the best option. They'll fit no matter what. They're awesome.
Yes, but they're warm.
They're warm.
Yeah.
They're definitely more of a Christmas party thing than a festival in August kind of a thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Option B, the company that makes our Lewis hose on our website has a style, if you will, that they call their Harris hose. And those are specifically made, they're an acrylic merino blend, so they're very, very comfortable. They're good for summer wear, and those do stretch at the top a good bit more than most of the regular kilt hose. So if you want to order a pair of those, drop me an email, sales@usakilts.com, and we can order a pair of the Harris hose for you, or the regular the wool hand knit kilt hose are on the website.
Since we're talking about hose, do you want to talk about the compression socks now?
Sure.
Okay. We had a question come in earlier, which we thought was very salient for a lot of customers. And he was saying, I have to wear compression socks for leg vein issues. I really don't have a choice. So how ridiculous would I look in compression socks with my kilt? I also wear black soccer socks sometimes, if that because that might match my kilt.
I did a little bit of research on this because I actually found it interesting. We have a few customers who have to wear compression socks kind of thing. I found out that there are different heights of compression socks as well as different colors. If you have to wear compression socks, but you only need them basically from the calf down, then I'd say wear whatever color compression socks. Well, check that. Wear either, nude, like flesh tone color, or wear black if you're going to wear black kilt hose, and then put your kilt hose on top of the compression socks. Mm-hmm. If you have to wear them that they go all the way up, like above the knee kind of thing, then I'd say wear the nude ones and wear those underneath your compression socks. One knee maybe slightly different color than the other one if you only have one compression sock on, but it still gives a better option than soccer socks. Some guys wear those as kilt hose just because they're inexpensive. My personal opinion is don't. Soccer socks are going to be $10 a pair, $9 a pair, something like that. You can get a pair of kilt hose for like $14-15 in cream and black. That's going to be a much better option for a couple bucks more than a regular pair of soccer socks. Or if you splurge and get a $20 pair of kilt hose, you have a ton of different options. So in that case, I'd say just, again, wear the compression socks underneath a proper pair of kilt hose.
Mm-hmm. And again, if you're worried about the heat factor, the cotton hose are good for that. They will not give you heat issues if you're layering them over compression hose. See, we made them Scottish just now. They're not compression socks anymore. They're now compression hose. If you're talking casual wear, again, only a jerk is going to fault you for wearing something that you need for a medical issue. You know what I mean? But presumably you're wanting to dress up the outfit a little bit. So that's the way to go. Just, take that as the device it is and then layer something that you like the look of on top of it. It can be really that simple.
And bottom line, it's all about confidence. Just wear it and own it.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Lucas?
Cool. Sarah is asking, what tips can you give her for getting her husband into a kilt? She already got one for their 4-year-old son, and she was hoping that would work.
Get a Sexy Men in Kilts calendar. Put that in the house. Subscribe to Stars or whatever station it is. Start watching Outlander.
Yep.
Tell your husband how dead sexy these guys look in a kilt. Just kind of drop hints. And bottom line is, if he's not comfortable doing it, there's not going to be a whole lot that you're going to be able to do. My sister-in-law is Scottish, and my wife's sister is Scottish, and her husband, Jamie, is actually Italian. We made him wear a kilt for his bachelor party. However, he was just adamant that that's the only time he's ever going to wear it. He has a son now, and he's kind of begrudgingly allowing his wife to let his son wear a kilt. Very, very nice guy. It's just kilts are not his thing. So ultimately, if he's adamant he's not going to wear it, don't let it ruin your marriage. Yeah. But you can kind of drop hints and kind of wear him down over time. My wife has worn me down over time on certain issues. So, it will probably work for you as well. Just keep kind of nudging at him and nudging at him and nudging at him. And hopefully he'll kind of come around.
I think other things you can do. First of all, let me do my shameless plug for the blog on the website. We actually have a blog entry all about this. Kilt confidence. So if he's having an issue with feeling weird putting a kilt on for the first time or how people in your community are going to react, go check that out. We constantly tell people that the reactions you're going to get are going to be 90 to 95, if not 100% positive. And if you get the occasional errant comment, it's usually some dumb teenagers roaring past in the car. That's our favorite example. The other thing you can do for him is coax him into doing the kilt, borrow a kilt, or get one of our less expensive ones or something like that. But give him a safe space in which to wear it. Say, look, we're going to this event, a Celtic festival, or a Ren Fair, or something like that, where he's not going to be the only person who's in a fancy outfit. So he'll feel more like he's blending in as opposed to like going to the mall. And that's one way to do it. But it's we tell people this all the time, but you will look better in a kilt than you do in pants. A kilt is more flattering to a man's physique than modern trousers are. Modern trousers basically just make you look a lot of time like a lollipop on a stick, or just frumpy, unless they're hand-tailored high-end slacks, suit slacks. So kilts are awesome for making a guy look good, and yeah.
The other trick is, if you do go to a Celtic festival, and he's had a few beers, then take him to a booth where they're selling kilts and get him into the kilt then. A lot of time, a little bit of liquid courage will go a long way to getting a guy at a kilt.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's true. Good luck.
Next, Mr. Lucas.
Our customer Dan suggested just getting this gent tartan pants instead of a kilt if he's not about the kilt.
That's
Dan,
an option.
Dan was just in yesterday, so hi Dan. He's saying that his wife and he are going to Jamaica to renew their vows.
Cool.
He's asking, can he wear a kilt with sandals? Also, if you guys have any suggestions on where to get a children's Highland shirt.
Children's Highland shirt, we used to carry a couple of them. We didn't sell that many, so we don't really have any more. I'd say search eBay, search Amazon, search the web for it. Can you wear sandals with a kilt? Don't write me letters, but I will say yes in certain circumstances. If you are having a beach wedding and you're going to be wearing a linen shirt and a kilt, okay. If you're going to be if you're going to be wearing no shirt on a beach and a kilt and wearing a pair of sandals, fine. If you're wearing, if you're going to a festival or, anywhere other than the beach, don't wear sandals.
Yeah. I mean, we've told people that context is the most important thing for shoes, but sandals, of all the shoes, flip-flops, I can't imagine flip-flops with a kilt.
Would I do it? No. I would never wear sandals, period. When I go to the beach, I wear, like Vans slip-on shoes or, the cloth kind of surfer shoes.
Yeah.
That being said, if you're a sandal type guy and you really want to wear a sandal with your kilt, if you're wearing it to a beach in that type of environment, it's going to fit in with what's going on around you. If you're going to be getting married in a formal ceremony, don't wear sandals. And no matter what, don't wear kilt toes with sandals. We're not German.
Yeah.
Well, I am.
I was about to say, you are. You're supposed to be all about the sandals. Come on.
Not hose with sandals. Not
hose
socks
and
and sandals.
Okay.
No.
Okay. Yeah, and here's another thought. I mean, if you want the sandals because of hot sand or whatever, or just walking around, fine. But when you do photos, throw the sandals off frame so you don't see the shoes. Just be barefoot in the sandal, natural on the beach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Lucas.
On the note of footwear, Kevin is asking us what shoes are traditional for wearing with a kilt. He's going to be wearing his kilt at his clan tent and wants to be traditional.
Sure.
Gillybrogues.
Gillybrogues are going to be the most traditional, yes.
Yeah.
Or a pair of buckle brogues if you're formal, or just a pair of regular wingtips to a degree. If you're going to be at a clan tent at a festival all day and it's going to be hot, then consider wearing a pair of comfortable sneakers or a pair of boots. Again, it's all about context. It doesn't matter whether it's traditional or not if the context is wrong. It's, you don't want to wear, dress gillybrogues in the mud. At the same time, you wouldn't want to wear sneakers to a wedding. It's all about what you're doing in the kilt and the context that you're in.
I like that. It's the context. If the context is wrong, then it doesn't matter if it's traditional or not. Yeah.
Ultimately, the kilt is a piece of clothing. I'll go outside the hose thing, or the shoe thing. A kilt is just a piece of clothing. Treat it with respect, but treat it like a regular piece of clothing. Yeah. How would you, what hat would you wear if you're going to be out in the sun all day? Wear that type of hat with your outfit. What jacket would you wear to a formal event? There's formal kilt jackets. There's less formal kilt jackets. What footwear would you wear? It depends on the context. Think of the kilt as a fancy pair of shorts. And then adjust accordingly. Or if you're getting dressed up formally, think of the kilt as a fancy pair of pants. And what would you wear with that?
Yeah, I'd say for representing the clan at the clan tent, I would definitely consider doing the gillybrogues if your feet will handle it for the day. Barring that, there are some very nice looking walking shoes and walking boots out these days. Many are brogued. I'm wearing a pair now, but I'm not going to try and lift my legs so you can see it. But they're basically a taller walking boot. Bass makes some. Check out Zappos, places like that. They have a really sharp kind of 19th century look to them, and they're comfy to wear. So that'd be a good middle ground. But if you're on display and you want to be in uniform to represent the clan and have the most amount of dignity for representing the clan, I would, assuming your feet can handle it for the day, go for the gillybrogues. That's going to look the best for representing.
You have a good point. There's a lot of especially right now. I've seen several. I was just in a bass outlet the other day,
Yeah.
and they have a pair of effectively 8 or 10 hole. Think of a pair of wingtips, but a little higher up the ankle. Now, I'm not a big fan of that. I tried them on, wasn't for me, but they're a popular shoe style right now, and those would go great with the kilt.
Yeah. Yep.
Especially if you want to wear a pair of kilt hose as well.
Any more? All right. I'm going to pull one from our collection.
I have a comment from Matt Ingram. He says he
Okay.
loves his new Glendor kilt and says thanks.
Cool.
Happy to hear it, Matt.
Hopefully Tony's listening still, and he got to hear that Glendor is doing well. All right. Okay, we were talking about shoes a little bit. This should be fun. If you had to make a top 5 best moments while kilted list, what would it be? What would be your top 5 best kilted moments?
One would be my wedding.
Oh.
Get major points right there. Yes, absolutely. I love you, hon. So, wedding, A, because it was my wedding. B, because we got some awesome photos out of it, and it really looked good. 2 would be probably in the hospital after the birth of my son. We did a photo shoot. We made a little tiny kilt for him. So that wasn't my experience, but I was there. So that would probably be number 2. Number 3 would be the photo shoot that we did with my son. The first time we did that was really cool. He wanted to pick out a kilt that matched mine, so we had matching kilts, and it was neat to watch him get excited about it for the first time and really want to experience it. 4, I'd say when I first started wearing a kilt, I would go to the pubs in Philadelphia, and we'd basically travel around and hang out with a bunch of the different Irish bands in the pubs in Philly. And they would always, whether it was the Hooligans, the Bogside Rogues, Dicey Riley, or now the Shanties, they would always let me sing Finnegan's Wake. That was the song I was allowed to sing with the band. So we did it, Dropkick Murphy style, and I always got to sing Finnegan's Wake. So that was pretty cool, being able to be on stage in front of people singing, and I'm not known for my singing. The last one I'll say, the coolest experience I've ever had was, I'm an okay looking guy, but I'm nowhere near a 10. And I've never really been picked up by women. When I first started wearing a kilt, going down to the pubs in Philly, we were friends with all these different bands, and we would just kind of go there just to watch the bands. And I remember one time at the downstairs at Finnegan's Wake, we were watching the Hooligans. And, I was up near the front of the stage with my beer, kind of singing along, and I felt this, motion on the side of me, and someone kept bumping into me. And I turned to my left, and there was a very, very attractive woman kind of grinding on my leg, trying to dance with me. And I just said, "Excuse me, I'm trying to watch the band." And I turned away from a very attractive woman. And that was very, very empowering. I felt spectacular being able to do that. So that was probably my 5th most fun experience I had in the kilt.
Yeah, that sense of power.
Absolutely.
That godlike powers of wearing a kilt.
Yes. Guys that are scared to wear a kilt. When I used to say after the first, 6 months or year wearing a kilt and experiencing that kind of thing much more often than I ever had in a pair of pants, I would always say, man, I wish I could travel back in time and tell 16 to 18-year-old Rocky, wear a kilt. Trust me, you're going to love it.
That's truth. That's some truth. All right.
Dropping truth torpedoes.
Yeah.
Flip's got one.
Yes.
Oh, cool.
On
Okay.
a more serious note,
Okay.
what is the best way to decide upon a tweed color that goes well with your kilt's tartan? They all look so similar, and they do look a little small on the website.
Get swatches.
Yeah. Get a swatch.
Yeah. When in doubt, get a swatch. No matter how good of a picture we take, we are always trying to, I'm physically sitting there with Photoshop open and the tweed swatch kind of looking back and forth to my monitor and to the tweed swatch and putting it on a different monitor to try to, get the best average of the two, which is the best closest color. So I'm doing my best to make sure there's the most realistic representation of the tweed on our website. That being said, on your end, I don't know how your monitor is calibrated. So what looks, very, very green to me may look slightly bluish to you. So when in doubt, order a swatch. That's going to be the safest bet. Then you can actually physically put the tweed swatch on top of the fabric, and gauge which one you're going to like the best.
Yeah, if you want to play it safe, you can always do a charcoal or a gray, but that's also not very exciting. So yeah, ta-da. Yeah, swatches are definitely your friend. Yeah, and make sure if you have an event in mind that you want this outfit for, make sure you give yourself lots of time to get the order in place, get the swatch first, make your decision, and then have the jacket made up.
Alternatively, if you don't have time, email us, again, sales@usakilts.com, email us and say, hey, Rocky, I have this tartan, Henderson Modern from Martin Mills in 16 ounce. What is the best green tweed that's going to match that? And I'll have Lucas go out to the store, we'll lay open the swatch book, take the swatches of tweed and lay it right next to the thing, take a look, decide which one's going to look the best, and then tell you, hey, the GT Highland green is really going to look the sharpest with that particular tartan. Or, well, you might want to check out the CGE 103 or whatever, just to try to give you a couple different options.
Yeah, we definitely have some favorites because there are some with the marled threads that they've just really, they go with so many tartans so easily that there are definitely some safer bets. And yeah, happy to advise, happy to help.
Cool. Lucas.
Victor says, love the Q&A sessions.
Thank you.
Please keep them coming.
Thank you very much.
Will do. Normally we stuck to about an hour on these, and we're coming up on an hour. That being said, we just found out, because we didn't ever look, that you can actually go beyond an hour. So for today, we're actually going to try to do about an hour and 15, hour and a half, either until the questions dry up or until we feel it's a good time to end it. So keep them coming, guys.
Yep. Cool.
Patrick asks, what tartan is Rocky wearing?
This is the Pennsylvania State Seal tartan. This is, and Eric's actually wearing the Alaska State Seal tartan. About 5 years ago or so, we decided we were going to try to start doing state tartans. So we looked into it, found out that a lot of the states had tartans, some of them did not. Of the states that did have tartans, some of them were copyrighted or privately controlled. I think Maine is one of my examples there. The Maine state tartan is actually copyrighted, and I know that LL Bean actually used it in a shirt and was sued by the person who designed it,
Wow.
and they won. So anyway, certain state tartans are copyrighted, and you have to go to one individual to do them. My wife and I kind of came up with the concept of, okay, we don't want to, tick anybody off by doing a copyrighted tartan, obviously, and we don't want to be sued. On top of that, not every state has a tartan. So we designed a collection based on this great seal of each state. And we've woven a few of them over time. Not every state has been woven. I think we've only done about a dozen or so. But there's something that we have on the website. We've kind of stopped promoting it. So if there's a particular tartan that you want that we don't do, there's a certain minimum we have to reach before we can actually weave it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's great if you have a band or a club of some kind.
Yep.
Yeah.
But to answer your question again, Pennsylvania State Seal.
Yeah, glad you like it. Yeah. Got any more?
Mr. Eric.
All right. Great kilts. Is it okay to wear a great kilt formally? And if so, what's the best way to put an outfit together without looking over the top?
I would not wear a great kilt formally. It's going to be a bit costumey. There's no real good way to do it. If you tried to wear it formally, if you were doing it in period garb with a period style jacket, maybe it could work. But if you're wearing it with a Prince Charlie, which is effectively a 1920s, 30s type invention, then it wouldn't really work well, because at that point in time, the half kilt, the tailored kilt as we know it today, was already in existence, and no one would wear a great kilt with a Prince Charlie. Right. So, that being said, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, I think that's kind of why things like the fly blade were invented, was to basically give you that sort of the dash of a great kilt, but streamline it so it wasn't too bulky and too over the top, and frankly, so it was more comfortable to wear, too. I mean, a great kilt is a serious garment. And it's just, I can't imagine wearing one at a formal function for any length of time anyway. So yeah, wouldn't really recommend doing it unless you're trying to Unless really it's about a reenactment kind of a context. Like if you're doing a period wedding, you're going for like that 18th century or earlier kind of look, then sure, then that's you can play it up and do it that way. But it's not going to be as easy to get the dash of the modern, all the modern bling either, because it's going to look odd with a modern sporran. Yeah, it's going to be crossing the streams kind of. If you do it modern kilt hose and modern ghillie robes with a great kilt, it's kind of odd.
Could you do the chicken dance in a great kilt?
Would you do the chicken dance in a kilt?
Or the electric slide?
I ain't doing either. No way. I'm a Pennsylvania native, but no way am I doing the chicken dance or the electric slide. Does anybody outside Pennsylvania do the chicken dance?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, but I feel like that was just like a polka.
Yeah, it was.
Okay. All right. Okay. Still no, and no. Anything else, Lucas?
Mark McDowell
Mark.
is saying that he has his McDougall ancient tartan kilt. Rocky got him all set up with the Highland green Argyle jacket and vest, and we have them in stock. He's encouraging Ian, who was commenting, to check out if we have one of those in stock for him. Looks good with ancient and modern tartans.
Yeah, Highland green is awesome. The GT Highland green is really, it's almost a perfect tweed in some respect.
Yeah, if you like green, it'll match any of the ancients or any of the modern, which is frankly, 75% of the tartans that are out there are ancient or modern.
Yeah.
And it matches them really well.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Yep.
Glad to hear. Anything else right now? Okay. I'm going to do a basic one right now. What is the correct length to wear a kilt?
The correct length to wear a kilt, it's kind of changed over time. In America, typically we've grown up, since the 80s and 90s kind of thing, wearing longer shorts. So guys try to wear them a little bit long. I'd say, basically the correct range is middle of the knee to the top of the knee. Bottom of the kneecap looks a little bit too long and starts to look a little bit skirtish. Top of the knee is okay. When you get up to about an inch above the knee or start to go higher than an inch above the knee, it looks a little bit creepy. So I'd stick to top of the knee to middle of the knee. It's right about the sweet spot.
Okay. Yep. We usually say that anything out of that range is going to look more feminine. If it's way above the knee or way below the knee, it's going to look more feminine and not as manly. Yeah.
The shorthand for that is, women wear kilt above the knee or below the knee. Men wear kilt to the knee.
Right.
So,
very much.
Yep.
Anything else?
Comment from Henry says he got his PC and Keith kilt. She calls it the chick magnet and keeps a close eye on this old lad and loves it when he's wearing it out.
Very good. Very good.
Mission accomplished.
Well done.
There we go. All right. Anything else right now?
Nope.
Is that no?
Good.
Okay. Let's do a fun one. If you could design a kilt for a band or a celebrity, who would it be? Can you do the band first and then celebrity, or just?
Well, the band we already did. But when we started a business, we quickly became friends through actually giving him a kilt. The bagpiper, the ex-bagpiper from the Dropkick Murphys. So Scruffy Wallace is a friend of ours, and we actually got to design the Dropkick Murphys tartan. So that was really, really cool. That was one of my favorite bands. It was neat to be able to meet them, hang out with them, see the shows from the side of the stage, and be able to interact with them on a different level. And we've done a bunch of different celebrities. We've done Madonna in a kilt. We did the Darth Maul. We did a kilt for a bunch of different people. Currently, the guy I'd probably like to get in a kilt is Angus McFadden. He's the guy who actually played Robert the Bruce in the movie Braveheart. And Robert the Bruce, the movie Robert the Bruce, is coming out next summer, 2019. So it would be awesome. My ideal would be to be able to design a tartan for him to wear on the red carpet. That's what I would love to do.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
He was in Turn also. You ever
Yep.
watch that show? He was the Rangers captain.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was about the Revolutionary War show on, I think it was
HBO,
History.
right?
No.
Oh,
It was
no?
History Channel, I think.
Okay.
But the TV show Turn. It was actually a really cool series about spies during the Revolutionary War. It was more of a drama, not authentic, but it was still the costuming was spectacular in the show.
Mm-hmm. And if you haven't heard about the Robert the Bruce movie that's coming up, check it out and make sure it's on your radar. It's
Yeah.
it's promising to be pretty damn cool. A lot of people, especially over in the UK, of course, people are really psyched about it too. So yeah, nice. Okay, do I get to? What about so that's your celebrities and that's your band also. Okay, I had a list. I made a list. I had 3 celebrities. I couldn't think of a band really. No, I did think of one band, but I'm not sure they would ever wear kilts, and that would be Amon Amarth. I don't think they would ever wear them, but I think it'd be awesome to get Amon Amarth into kilts. For celebrities, I think it'd be cool to do Liam Neeson, get him into a kilt, right? Chris Evans, Captain America,
Okay.
get him into an American Heritage kilt.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty sweet. And Bruce Dickinson.
Little Maiden.
Yep, absolutely.
Not bad.
I'm old school like that.
Okay, now would you prefer Bruce Dickinson in the kilt or Eddie?
Both.
Okay, fair.
Both. Because Eddie you put in the Great Kilt and make it look like an undead Highlander, right?
Yeah,
Coming
with the, maybe
coming out with a
the Scottish flag coming out.
yeah. And then Bruce would be in like the more going with like the trooper look, kind of, or just metal. You know, give him a modern kilt and a big braided horsehair sporran. That's a joke from way back that I said that we could do. You could probably wear a horsehair sporran and then braid it and put beard beads in it for a more metal look.
I no.
Rocky doesn't agree.
Still no.
No. But those are my picks.
Fair enough.
If you're a celebrity and you want a kilt, let us know. We'll squeeze you in.
We happen to know a guy.
Anything else, Lucas?
Yes. Measuring question from Patrick. And he asks, do you measure from the true waist, about the belly button, or the hips to where most wear their belts for a kilt waist measurement?
For kilt waist measurement, you're measuring where you want to wear the kilt.
Right.
So if you're going to wear the kilt up around the widest part of your belly, like a proper kilt, then measure there. And the more important component of this is the length. If you're measuring your belly up here, but then you put in the instructions that you're going to want the length to be 19 and you're 6'2", it's going to be a mini kilt. So you want to make sure that no matter where you decide to measure the waist, you're actually measuring the length on the side of the body from that height to the middle of the knee. But yeah, it's personal preference. If you're a bigger guy, kilts are going to look better worn up around the widest part of your belly, and they're also going to stay up easier. Yep. So measure around the widest part of your belly. You want to measure firm so that you're not really distorting the flesh on the sides, but you're pulling it tight enough that that's how tight it's going to be when you wear it. Yep. And then, or if you're going to wear it casually, like our casual kilt around like where you wear your jeans, then you're just going to wear it, measure down there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But basically, for traditional, that's where the whole true waist thing comes in. Basically, that a lot of guys don't even realize that your true waist is up here at your navel, or like an inch above your navel is where the kilt's going to be.
Yep.
Basically bisecting you. So
if you think of yourself as picture in your head a skeleton, your hips are actually up a little bit higher than most people realize. If you draw a line from your belly button straight over to the side of your body, and you kind of poke your thumb into the side of your body right in line with your belly button, you're going to feel the top of your hip bone. So that is where you want the top of the kilt to sit, is right above that measurement, because that way you can cinch it in real tight and it's not going to want to fall down. So that's basically where you're taking the top of that's your true waist. That's where you take your waist measurement from when you're measuring for a kilt.
Yep. Cool.
Adam was chiming in on the celebrity kilt wearers, and he was voting for the Mountain from Game of Thrones.
Yes. Adam, that is sick. That is a great idea. That would be
supreme kilt confidence.
That'd be awesome. As a matter of fact, we have actually. Do you remember, Lucas? We did a kilt for that guy who was a World's Strongest Man competition guy.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And he had to practically duck to come in the front door of the store.
Yeah.
And we had a hard time getting his kilt to him for a while because it turned out he had blown out his knee or something, and he was out of action for almost a year, and we kept holding on to the kilt, and finally he was like, "You guys want to come get my kilt?"
That's what happens when you pick up 500-pound rocks.
Yeah, but dude, that's a great idea. Call him up. We'll ping him, PM him on Facebook there, and we'll hook him up. That's a great idea.
Next one.
Okay. What is a sgian?
Sgian literally means black knife. It's a small, 8-inch long or so dagger. Typically, it's worn in the sock. You actually wear it on the dominant hand side. Traditionally, way back when, if you're going into your friend's house, you would actually always hide a weapon on you somewhere. So basically there was usually a pocket sewn into the armpit of a Great Kilt or up in the armpit of your shirt. And then what you would end up doing is when you get to your friend's house, because you would always want to be armed, when you get to your friend's house, you take the knife out and you stick it in the top of your sock just to basically say, look, I have a weapon on me as a sign of respect. So that's just kind of a holdover from, years gone by, as it were. But yeah, that's what a skin do. That's what a skin do is, and that's where you wear it. Is dominant side on that leg, top of the sock, with about 3 inches sticking out of the top of the sock.
Yep. And basically nowadays it's mostly an ornamental accessory. It's mostly just a little bit of extra bling.
A fashiony letter
for an outfit. Yeah. You can get functional skin do's, and some guys do wear them on a regular basis. A lot of our lifestyler guys who wear a kilt every day also wear like a utility type skin do, like our Damascus steel one is one of the most popular ones for that. We also have one called the officer's skin do. If you're looking for a practical skin do, that's a very nice knife. But most of the time, it's basically showing the heritage, showing clan affiliation, and just a little bit of extra pizzazz there. Especially if you have a jewel in the pommel, which just a little bit of sparkle that goes with the colors in the kilt, like that. So yeah. Oh, and the name skin do basically means black knife, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and some people think that's because it was something that was meant for skullduggery in the darkness of the night. Your black knife. It may also be that they used things like bog oak for the handles. Therefore, typically the handle was a very dark color, was very black. So literally, that's where the name comes from. But and it's pronounced skin do, right? Skin do.
Yeah, basically the B and the H are silent in do, so just pronounce that like D-O-O. And sgian, you actually like sound out the letters, S-G-I-A-N, sgian do.
Okay. Yep. Cool. Anything else, Lucas? Okay. All right. Want to keep going?
Sure.
Okay. How many yards are there in a Great Kilt?
Depends on the size of the guy. Typically, a Great Kilt would have 4 or 5 yards in it for a 34 or 40-inch waist. If you have a bigger guy, then it would be 6 yards, maybe 7 yards. If you have a real big guy, that is not where the term the whole 8 yards came from. It is not for a Great Kilt. If you try, I've had guys say that, and they insist on ordering 8 yards of cloth, and 8 yards of cloth, double width, is very, very heavy.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine walking around all day with 8 yards of cloth double width. So now it's typically 4 or 5 yards is about good for an 8-yard kilt, or for a Great Kilt.
Great Kilt. Yeah. Cool. Okay. Let's see. Why are there? This is on a more serious note. This one. Why are there color variations in the same tartan from mill to mill? Like, for instance, McDonald Ancient from Martin Mills is going to be different from McDonald Ancient from House of Edgar. Why is that?
A red car from Ford is different than a red car from Chevy. Mm-hmm. Each company, each mill is deciding which color red or which color blue to use in their modern color palette or their ancient color palette. So there are going to be some variations from one mill to the next. Generally speaking, ancient would mean, as far as the kilt color palette, an ancient color palette would mean that it's going to be like a light pastel-y kind of green or a light pastel-y sky blue. Modern is kind of mimicking modern dyes. So it's going to, it is because it's modern dyes, meaning it's a navy blue and like a beer bottle, like a bottle green, or a scarlet red. So it's
very bright, more primary kind of colors. Yeah. Okay.
Brendan asks, what type of kilt do we sell the most of?
Good question.
I believe it's our casual kilt, and then next is our 5-yard wool kilt.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
We actually just ran the numbers on this the other day. We looked at the number of 5-yard wool kilts we've sold since we changed our website back in 2011, and it was staggering, the number. Something, I want to say it was like, Lucas, do you remember what the number was? It was like 15,000. Like, it was a crazy number. It was a lot.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the casual, and basically it's probably because of the price point. The casual kilt is the least expensive of our kilts, so that is the one that we sell the most of.
Right.
then the 5-yard wool is the least expensive of our wool kilts. So for people who say, my name is Henderson and I have to have the Henderson tartan, but I don't have a ton of money, then they typically go with the 5-yard wool kilt to get them their actual clan tartan in the most economical way possible.
Yeah, I'd say 5-yard is a good middle of the road kilt.
Yeah.
It's just good, for any occasion, pretty much. So,
Sure.
Yeah.
Tom comments and says that the 5-yard wool kilts are amazing with 8 exclamation points.
Thanks, Tom.
Thank you, Tom.
Yeah.
We do our best.
Cool.
One of the shameless little plug here. One of the things that I noticed when we were designing our 5-yard wool kilt way back when, a lot of companies in Scotland were selling basically 8-yard kilts and then what they would call 4-yard casual kilts out of wool. And we bought a couple of them just to see what they were. And the problem that I ran into with them is the pleats were a little bit too wide and the construction wasn't that great. A lot of times for their casual kilts, they weren't allowing for the rise and they were meant to be worn more like on the hips. So what we found kind of through trial and error is 5 yards is about the perfect amount of fabric to use in a non-8-yard wool kilt for the optimal amount of swing, a good width of a pleat, meaning about 1 inch wide to 1.1 inches maybe max, but still give it some depth. And keep in mind, if you're a guy with a 47 or 48 inch belly, you're actually going to be a 6-yard kilt. We don't tell you we're selling you a 6-yard kilt.
Right.
We're just including that in there, and just because we want it to look good on you.
Yeah.
Ultimately, you guys wearing them and looking good is our best marketing. Our customers and our evangelists are our best way to spread the word about our company. And if you guys look good, using the old, today's man or whatever what it is, when you look good, we look good kind of thing.
That was Vidal Sassoon. That was actually women's shampoo.
Okay, well, I don't know much about shampoo.
If you don't look good, we don't look good. Yeah, but it's true. It's that's what it's about.
Yeah, it's ultimately you are representations of what we are doing. Right. So we want you to look good. So when somebody walks up to you and says, "Hey, that's awesome. Where did you get that kilt?" You hand them our business card, which we include in the package with some candies, and then you say, USA Kilts, they did a great job. And then hopefully that person comes to us as well. I think that's the cheapest and the most effective form of advertising that we have.
Yeah. You can hand them the candy too, but they might think you're weird. So, another one?
Henry asks, he's going to a black tie dinner,
Cool.
and he's going to wear his kilt and PC with the lace cuffs and jabot, like Sean Connery has worn.
Oh, okay.
What do you guys think?
With a PC?
With a PC.
With a Prince Charlie?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'll pass. Go.
Really?
Go.
Okay. I don't think it's perfect, but I don't have a problem with it either. Again, I think that the longer what has become standard Highland formal dress, again, in other words, the Prince Charlie and the Argyle, the black Argyle jacket, the longer they've been around over the past 50, 60 years, the more people are getting bored with them. I see more photos of guys at weddings wearing what we would consider old styles of jackets or variations on old 19th century doublets which have been updated or were experimental updates done in the early 20th century, like the Sheriff Muir, and the Montrose, and there's another one. It's going to bug me. Okay. Anyway, the point is, guys want more variety, and in a clothing style which is supposed to allow you to express yourself and really stand out in a crowd, people want something different so they can stand out in the crowd. That's why we've had people buying the regimental doublet, which is kind of like a PC. So I would say, ideally, I'd rather see you in a Sheriff Muir or a Montrose with the jabot.
Or a Kenmore. That's the one you were thinking of.
Thank you, or Kenmore. Kenmore doublet, thank you. Or the Brian Boru, which is actually an Irish-style jacket, but it's got a shawl collar instead of the peaked lapels, not collar, but shawl collar instead of the peaked lapels. I think that the sharp angles of the lapels on the PC kind of clash with the foofy roundness of the jabot. But if Sean Connery can do it, you can do it. And you might even be able to do it better. Sean Connery has not always been that well put together every time he's been on camera.
Blasphemy!
I know.
Blasphemy, sir. Oh, the vapors.
I'm just that's called as I see it. So.
Yeah, he's right. And ultimately, I was trying to collect my thoughts on it. The jabot typically it's not often done with a PC. It's more done with the Montrose doublet.
Yep.
Or Sheriff Muir.
Or Sheriff Muir.
Yeah, Sheriff Muir. I guess mostly actually Sheriff Muir.
I think Montrose was what people expected people to use it for with the most. Sheriff Muir, another reason I like him is because you can do any tie you want with it. But it will even look good with a jabot. Something as funky as a jabot.
There, but it's for PC. If you already own a PC and that's what you want to wear for the wedding, then have at it. I would say this: 95% of people that are going to be there at the wedding won't know whether you're wearing it properly, whether you're not wearing it properly. If it's a style that you like and you want to do it, let's do this. Get dressed up in it. Put it on. Take a look. Take some pictures of yourself wearing it and live with it in your office cubicle for a week and see if you like the look. Or take a picture of yourself in the PC.
Not wear the outfit to the office.
You could. Okay. You may get some looks.
I'm here to ask for our raise. Yeah.
But take a picture of yourself in a regular PC with a bow tie. Take a picture of yourself in the jabot with the PC, and then put it in your cubicle. Look at it for a week. Show it to the bride. See what she thinks, and kind of live with it. Don't just make the decision, because ultimately those pictures are forever. That is what you are going to have hanging over your mantle. That is what your kids are going to have, that they're going to pass down. So make sure you like what you're dressed up as.
Right. Did he say it was a wedding or a formal event?
He said it was a black tie dinner.
A black tie dinner.
Oh,
okay.
Sorry.
Yeah. No, it's still good advice.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd say if that's how you want to rock it, go for it. But yeah, double check, test it out for a while if you can. We give the same advice when people are not sure about tartan. Like if they have more than one tartan to choose from, we will say either get the swatches or take photos or both and stick them on the refrigerator and leave them there. And after a month, whichever one you're not sick of looking at, that's the one you want. The jabot is definitely a challenge. Definitely watch out when you're eating because those cuffs will get into everything. If you have any gravy or wine or anything, be careful. But yeah, I would say if you got time, it might be worth exploring a different jacket option to give that. If you really want that Regency elegant style, that's how I would play it if I had the time and the money. But you do you. Anything else? Okay. About 20 after.
All right, we'll do one more.
Okay. All right. Do you want to talk about shoes?
Yeah, we hit on shoes.
We hit on shoes? Okay.
Let's do, I don't know.
Kilt pressing?
Sure.
Okay.
The kilt pressing.
Okay. How do you press a kilt to get that crisp feeling back? How can the average Angus press a kilt? How do you press a kilt? We talked about it a little bit earlier, but we got into the fact that you might want to do it yourself as opposed to having a dry cleaner do it if you get your kilt dry cleaned. But how do you do it?
If you, ideally, you want to start out with a large flat surface. Do not use plywood or anything that when you heat it, like the glue from the plywood could actually come out of it. But if you have a big sheet of melamine, if you go to Home Depot, they sell big 8x4 sheets of melamine, which is basically fiberboard and then like a plastic laminate top, like a hard plastic laminate top on it. Ultimately, you want to have something hard you can press against. An ironing board is good. However, you're going to have to put some pressure on the pleats to actually get them to really stay in there. So if you're going to do an ironing board, what I'd say is basically fold it up flat and lay it on your bed so you have something to press against. If you only have an ironing board, then it's a little bit more difficult because you have to do small sections at a time. But basically lay it flat and then use your fingers. You run your fingers down each of the insides of the pleat, and then do 3 or 4 at a time. And you want to make sure that you're lining up the pleats perfectly in 3 or 4 pleats. Then take a white cotton handkerchief, get it wet, and you're going to use that as a press cloth. What a press cloth is you don't want to put the iron directly against the wool fabric, because if you have it set too high, you can actually burn the fabric or have it shine, and that's almost as bad as burning it, or it is burning it technically. So you're going to use a white cotton handkerchief as a press cloth. So you basically straighten out 3 or 4 pleats, get them it's actually ideal to iron the kilt when it's a little bit damp, and then put the press cloth down, and hold the iron down on there, and you're actually pressing it. You want your body weight pushing on it is what's actually going to help iron it flat, and what's going to help press the fibers and have them shrink back in. You want to set the dial on the iron to the lowest steam setting. You don't want to have linen or any of the really, really high settings. You're going to go somewhere around the middle. If you use a damp press cloth, you can actually use that to create steam. If not, you can actually just squirt a little bit of water right on the wool and then again press on that, but using the press cloth so you don't shine the fabric.
Cool. How long does it take? If you're doing it right.
It depends. If we're like here at the shop, we have a large, 30-inch deep by 48-inch or so wide vacuum ironing table. We have, mini boiler irons that have steam that actually shoot out of them. And then the ironing table sucks the steam through the fabric. So we can iron a kilt in 5 minutes. If you're actually doing a kilt on your own at home on a small ironing table where you're only doing a few things at a time, it may take up to a half hour. It's just, you want to be very, very precise and make sure that all the lines are lined up perfectly on the kilt.
Right.
And you're crisp. You're basically, look at the bottom of the fell and go down to the very bottom of the kilt, the bottom of the pleat. You want to make sure that line, whatever line you're following, is going straight down there. A little trick for you, pay attention at the bottom of the fell. The fell is actually the sewn down portion. It's about 8 inches from the top of the waistband. It's sewn down about 8 inches, then the sewing stops, and that's where the pleats start swinging. So look at that spot right at the bottom of the fell. What is basically where in the tartan pattern that is. Go all the way down to the bottom and pinch the bottom of the pleat at that same spot, and then start ironing at the bottom and work your way back up to the bottom of the fell. And when you get back up to the top, as long as you've gone straight, it's going to be a perfectly straight pleat.
Huh. Okay, that's cool.
Yep.
That's one. Actually, never heard that tip before.
Yep.
Okay, nice.
It's almost like I do this for a living.
In your spare time. Yeah. Hobby business. All right. I think that's probably a good session, right?
Yep.
All right. Okay.
Very good. All right, boys and girls, thank you for coming. Thank you for your attention. If you have any questions you want us to answer in the next Facebook Live session, drop us an email, sales@usakilts.com, and we'll be happy to help you out.
Yep.
Talk to you soon.
Take care, guys.
Have fun.